All right. Well, good afternoon. It's nice to see all of you here. Thank you for being here. Fun to see some faces we don't usually see here. Yeah, thanks for being here. We welcome all of you. This is the Wasatch Front Regional Council, and today is Thursday, August 28th. The time is 1:32 p.m. Recognition of the two officers from Tree Mountain who were tragically killed in the line of duty, Officer Eric Estrada and Sergeant Lee Sorensen. We just want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank them and their families and their communities. Let them know they're in our thoughts, they're in our hearts and our prayers and our sincere gratitude. We know that there are some people not able to attend today because there are funeral services happening in Logan, and we just extend our best wishes and our sincerest condolences to them. We're going to do introductions around the table, and then we'll go to online. We'll do around the table and in the gallery, and then we'll jump online. So would you like to go first?
Sure. Bob Stevenson, Davis County Commission.
Jeff Silvestrini, Mill Creek.
Mark Shepard, Clearfield City.
Nan O'Malley, Stockton.
Dan Dugan, Salt Lake City.
Choices. Good afternoon, Ted Knowlton, Deputy Director, Chief Planner, WFRC.
Bob Dandoy, Roy City.
Gage Floor, Weber County Commission.
Rosie Hernandez, and I'm part of the ORGOPS team at WFRC.
Jordan Chandler, also part of the ORGOPS team at WFRC.
Larry Stringham, Salt Lake County Council member.
Hi, Christy Overson, Mayor of Taylorsville.
Amy Winder Newton, Salt Lake County Council.
Carlton Christensen with the Utah Transit Authority.
Joy Petro, Layton City Mayor.
Carlos Becerras, UDOT.
Andrea Pearson, WFRC admin team.
I'm Andrew Gruber. Welcome to the Wasatch Front Regional Council.
I'm Mayor Zoltansky, Sandy City Mayor.
Thank you. I'm Dawn Ramsey. I'm the mayor of South Jordan City and current chair of the Wasatch Front Regional Council. Let's start right up here on the front and welcome our friends that are in the gallery. Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Roger Porginick, Utahns for Better Transportation.
Ann Floor, Utahns for Better Transportation.
Val Potter with Senator Curtis's office.
Hugh Van Wagen and WFRC staff.
Ben Hewitt with UDOT. George Johnner, Long Range Planning Group, WFRC.
Matt Ryan, WFRC staff.
Byron Head, Community and Economic Development Group with WFRC.
Ben Wood, City Weekly. Josh Reynolds, WFRC Analytics.
Tim Watkins, WFRC Community Economic Development.
Hey, Samantha DeSteelhorst, WFRC Long Range Planning.
Lauren Victor, WFRC Long Range Planning.
Seamus Guetta, WFRC Long Range Planning.
Julie Bjornstad, WFRC Long Range Planning.
Brian Priest, South Jordan City Planning and Economic Development.
Joe Moss, South Jordan City.
Matt Dahl, Midvale City.
Barry McLaren, Senator John Curtis' office.
Chandler Butler, Utah Transit Authority.
John A. Nardone, Communications Manager with WFRC.
Miranda Jones-Cox, Government Affairs with WFRC.
Chris Day, WFRC Analytics.
Madison Aviles, Local Administrative Advisor, WFRC.
Wayne Benyon, WFRC Short Range Planning.
I'm Didi, WFRC Analytics.
Chrissy Dahlberg, WFRC Community and Economic Development.
Sarah Lawless, WFRC Analytics.
Bill Harris, WFRC Analytics.
Ben Withridge, WFRC Staff, Short Range Planning.
A lot of people here wish you would never give that back.
Kip Billings, Wasatch Front Regional Council staff.
Marsha White, WFRC staff as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to acknowledge who we have here online as well. We've got, I can see Commissioner Lee Perry from Box Elder County, Mayor Harris from Bountiful, Mayor Fippen, Far West, Mayor Lang from West Valley City, Commissioner Kamalu, Davis County, Dave Mon, Syracuse, yes, thank you. Beth Holbrook, UTA. Yes, please.
And then, Mayor, Chair, we also have a variety of folks that are joining us online from the public, including, oh, there goes some of our members, Mike Newton from Morgan County, Mayor Stanger, I see. We're trying to get him in, and Mayor Vanderwood, if they accept their invitations that Andrea is sending to you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I said her from Bountiful, Mayor Harris from Bountiful. Yeah, thank you. Yep, and it looks like we've got a lot of staff and partners from across the region that are on here as well, several cities and counties. So thank you so much. Okay, very quickly, we have a new official member of the council, and we are so excited to have him here. Envision Utah's new CEO, Jason Brown, is here officially in his capacity as the new full-time and permanent CEO of Envision Utah. Jason, we're happy to have you here and wonder if you want to take a quick minute to introduce yourself.
Sure, happy to. I am Jason Brown. I've been with Envision Utah for a little more than a decade, so I know or have worked with or crossed paths with a lot of you, but I'm really happy to be in this role. This is brand new. It just made official by our board of directors last week, so still running late to meetings and everything. So thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be here.
Well, Jason brings a wealth of experience, and we congratulate you on your new role and welcome you officially as a member of the Wasatch Front Regional Council. Thanks. Okay, item 1A that we have on our agenda is the minutes from our WFRC meeting that was held May 22nd, 2025, and our current financial report and our financial statements for April, May, and June 2025. Those have been available for review. And does anyone have any amendments, questions, or is there a motion to approve the draft minutes, financial report, financial statements for April, May, and June?
Madam Chair, if there's no questions on that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve all of the above.
Thank you. A motion by Commissioner Stevens. Anybody else? Stevenson, sorry. Anyone else? Second?
Second.
Okay, I saw Mayor Petro first, so we'll give that one to Mayor Petro. Thank you very much. A second by Mayor Petro. Any discussion to this? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are approved. Where? Oh, good. I'm like looking around. I don't see her. Hi, Laura Hansen is also with us from the governor's office. We appreciate you being here with us online. Hi. Okay, and we will try to catch anyone else that comes in throughout the process. Hopefully we can catch you, but we appreciate you all being here. Item 2, we have the chair report. And actually for the chair report, I'm going to turn it over to our director because we have a lot of activities and accomplishments to highlight. It's been a good year. It's been a good fiscal year for 25. And every year we set goals for the organization. This body does. And after the year's over, our esteemed staff brings us a report on how we did and what it looks like. So we're going to turn it to Andrew for that.
Mayor Ramsey, thank you so much. Members of the council and friends and colleagues, we so appreciate you being here with us today and our friends online. As Mayor Ramsey noted, you as a council set goals for us as an agency to fulfill each year. And we think it's really important that we report back to you about those goals so that we have accountability as a public agency. Accountability to you as members and to the public is really important. We also like to report on our activities and accomplishments because truthfully, we're really proud of the work that we've done. And when I say we, I mean WFRC with our partners and with all of you. And I hope that you have pride as well in the work that we're doing together in serving our community. So this report, Activities and Accomplishments, is online. It's been shared with all of you. So I'm not going to go through all of the details of the report. I'm going to hit some highlights. I'll start by just reminding you that for fiscal year 25, you adopted 4 goals for us to collaboratively advance the Wasatch Choice vision, to effectively administer our ongoing plans and programs, to provide subject matter expertise, and to strive for organizational excellence. Those were the 4 goals that you adopted for us. And before I go into those, let me just start with a few high-level numbers about a sense of impact. So $52 million, that's the amount, the value of the capital funding and the technical assistance that WFRC was able to provide directly to you and your communities. 45, that's the number of individual communities to which we were able to provide that funding and assistance. 172 is the increase in the number of planned city and town centers across the Wasatch Front. That includes the MAG area, the area encompassed in the Wasatch Choice Vision. That's a significant increase as we worked with you to refine what it is you want for your communities in the future. And then 50,000 plus, that's the number of new homes in certified station area plans. And that's not even all of them. We'll be doing some more later in this meeting. The number of homes so critical, 50,000 new homes planned. Just a few indicators. Now, as I go through this, the notion here, the work that we do, it's about planning today to shape tomorrow. The first goal I noted already, and I'll go through each of these, is to collaboratively advance the Wasatch Choice vision. And the way that we think about this, again, is one of the ways that we advance that vision is to support you and your communities. And so I just want to give you a few examples of that type of work that we've done. I know Commissioner Perry is online from Box Elder County. And so let's focus on Perry City. We were able to work with Perry City, with Box Elder County, and with UDOT to develop a Highway 89 master plan. That roadway is essentially their main street and also the main means of transportation. And that work led to a corridor agreement that UDOT was able to execute with the partners. That's on the transportation side, as an example. On the land use side, we were able to work with Ogden City to help them to refine their general plan and their zoning as they continue to think about how they want to grow as time goes on. And then when you put transportation and land use together, station area plans, I mentioned that already, is a great example. We've been able to help so many of your communities. Sandy City, for example, adopted its 5 station area plans and they were certified here. Clearfield City updated their station area plan for Front Runner. So much of that good work is happening. Now, the nature of the work that we do in helping you is that we provide high quality data, maps, tools, analytics, advice, and technical and financial resources so that we can help you in addressing the needs that are appropriate for your community or for that project, because we know there's no one size fits all. So we want to target that assistance to help you in any way that we can. Okay, let's move on to goal number 2, which is to effectively administer our ongoing plans and programs. As you think about our plans, you could start at the highest level, Utah's Unified Transportation Plan, which still is a model for collaboration across the nation. And of course, in our area, when we do long-range planning, that is embodied in the Regional Transportation Plan. We do a lot of work on that together, as you know, with UDOT and with UTA and our communities. And I want to note to you that the nature of this planning work is dynamic. Obviously, your communities and our region are changing, but we are always looking to update and enhance the nature of the work that we do. And our Regional Growth Committee gave us sort of a way to think about our planning, and I'm just going to read this to you as a goal: to explore aspirational opportunities for multimodal transportation choices for state and local roads, transit, and active transportation, right? Be aspirational as we think about how we accommodate the growth that we have coming. Balanced, keyword, balanced with pragmatic consideration of context and costs. That perhaps in a sentence embodies the nature of the work that we do in transportation planning. The transportation planning in a lot of ways starts with dialogue with you and what's going on in your communities. Every year, we do our sub-regional workshops in collaboration with our partners, and those are coming up again this year in October and November. The local governments you have the invites to those meetings already, thanks to Jordan who sent those out to you. And those are really important. Now, all this process we do, we have processes which lead to good plans, which lead to better projects, which lead to improved outcomes, which is ultimately about quality of life. That's how all of this ties together. So we do the planning, and then of course that translates, as I noted, into projects. And so we also work to adopt the Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP. You'll have the opportunity to consider that later in the meeting today. And I also noted already the project funding that we provide at the local level. For example, improvements to Vine Street in Murray to improve traffic flow and do sidewalks, safety projects for pedestrian crossings in Farmington. These are just examples. And then critically, we also work with the local communities and with UDOT in helping to plan for transportation in Tooele County and also in Morgan County through what we call the rural planning organizations. And we want to help every community in our region, even the smallest ones, or particularly perhaps the smallest ones that don't have as much staff, through the local administrative advisor program that we coordinate with the League of Cities and Towns. And it's like as if it's on cue, there's Cameron Deal walking in right now. I swear we didn't plan that. And then the last example I'll give is that we often work with groups of communities that are dealing with challenging issues. For example, in Southwest Salt Lake County and Northwest Utah County, we have been working on the Transit Fresh Look to evaluate what is the desire of that area for transit and what may be feasible as time goes on. Okay, let's move on to goal number 3 of 4, which is to provide subject matter expertise to federal, state, and local officials and policymakers. So this is our engagement at the federal level and at the state level. You know, we work a lot on federal issues to make sure that we can have sustainable and predictable investment. Just one example of that over the past year, several of you will remember we had a visit from USDOT Secretary Sean Duffy and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. They came here to discuss transportation plans and investments. And then Secretary Duffy took a ride on the front runner. And I'll just basically quote Secretary Duffy, who actually noted that Utah is a case study for other communities in transportation planning and investment. And we appreciate that. We also work with our congressional delegation, who are very well placed on key committees of jurisdiction for transportation issues. Now, closer to home, of course, we do a lot of work at the state capitol. And the nature of the work that we do there is all about advancing Utah's Unified Transportation Plan and the Wasatch Choice vision. That's what shapes our work there. And then, finally, goal number 4 is to strive for organizational excellence. Now, this is more of an internal goal, how we go about doing our work here. And I'll start by noting how important it is, and I said this at the beginning, for us to demonstrate accountability and transparency to our members and to the public as a public agency, as well as using our resources prudently and efficiently and maintaining budget stability. We take that very seriously. I take that very seriously. And then let me sort of close this out by focusing on people. Our most important asset is our staff. And you, and I appreciate this, you set a goal for us as an agency to create and maintain a work environment that maximizes the health, happiness, and productivity of an excellent staff. And that is exactly what we have. We have an excellent staff. And that's true whether they're new and they joined us in the past year, like Janae and Samantha, or they have been with us for 1, 2, or even 3 decades. Our staff is talented, they're dedicated, and they care deeply about the future of this region and our communities. And I'm so proud to work with them. So what I want to do is I just want to give you 2 examples of folks on our staff. I'm going to start with Sarah Lawless. Where's Sarah? No. Sarah Lawless right there. Sarah is a data scientist, which is just the coolest title that you can have. A data scientist. She's also our GIS, Geographic Information Systems lead, Think Mapping. And she has another thing that she can now add to her business card. She is the iron cartographer. Okay, so there was a competition. You're like Iron Chef. You're under pressure. You have to do a task. Well, there was a mapping competition to develop with limited resources and in a short period of time, a transportation map. And she took home the trophy. And when I say that, I mean that literally. If you look through the window over there, the trophy's so big, you can actually see it sticking up over there. So way to go, Sarah. Sarah's just an example. And I want to focus on one other person who is actually celebrating an anniversary. Where is Julie? Where is Julie? Julie Bjornstad, right there. Julie is our senior transportation planner. She's the, I can't look at her, I'm going to get emotional here. She's the deputy director of our long-range planning group. Julie is truly a multi-talented planner. She is relied upon by many of us as like the glue that holds a lot of our work together. She does heavy lifting analytically, in project management, in writing, and in mentoring. She leads our work in performance measurement, transportation financial planning. She's really heavily involved in all of the planning work, transportation planning work that we do. She's sharp, she's fun, she's one of the most capable and terrific people I get to work with. And Julie and her husband, Sebastian, are raising their two kids, Benny and Wolfie, both of whom were born since Julie joined WFRC, so it's a real WFRC family. So Julie Bjornstad, 10 years. And I want to ask you all, if you would do me that. Yeah, give Julie a round of applause. Good. Well done. Thank you. I'm going to ask everybody on WFRC staff, stand up, please. Please stand up. WFRC team, awkward desks notwithstanding. And members of the council, will you do me the favor of please giving our team a round of applause? And now, the last thing that I want to say, please remain standing. Team, please remain standing, is we want to turn this around and say thank you, to the members of our council. We know that you have the hard jobs. You are the ones that put your name on the ballot and ask your friends and neighbors to please let me do this work for our communities. We admire you for it. We are so appreciative of what you do and our ability to work with and support you. It is really an amazing opportunity to support you and serve our community. So team, let's give our council a round of applause. You may be seated. Thank you very much. And Madam Chair, in conclusion, I'll just note again that this entire report is available online and it's been sent out to you. And that concludes our update. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you go too far, go ahead and wait right there. We have one other milestone that we're going to celebrate today, and that is 15 years of service from Mr. Andrew Gruber here at Wasatch Front Regional Council. So you might as well stay there. I'm going to embarrass you just a little teeny bit. Okay. I wish I could have reached out to literally everyone who has worked with and knows and loves Andrew, but we could be here all day and we don't have time for that. So I asked a few folks just to share some thoughts about today from Ted Knowlton, our deputy director here. Andrew has very high standards for our work at WFRC and has a vision for the difference we can have in making life better. Andrew cares about each of us as individuals, our happiness, how our family is doing, and the joy we find in our work. Andrew consistently brings optimism and a fun-loving spirit into our office. It buoys us up and helps fill our office with that same spirit. Meg Pageon. I have been fortunate enough to work with Andrew for 11 of his 15 years at WFRC, and his mentorship is invaluable. What I've learned from Andrew isn't simply taught. He has shown me the value of nurturing lasting relationships and how to navigate the complex world in which we work to accomplish big things. His ability to meaningfully contribute to a multitude of evolving efforts while keeping an eye on the big picture is unmatched. Meanwhile, he never misses when it comes to giving credit where credit is due. If you want to see what it looks like to care deeply about the work, look to Andrew. From Carlos Braceras, Executive Director of the Department of Transportation. Now, in all fairness, I said just like 1 to 3 sentences. Carlos said, Andrew is a great partner who really cares about our state and the success of all her partners. From Carlton Christensen, Chairman of the Board of our Utah Transit Authority. I had the privilege of being on the interview panel who hired Andrew. While we felt like it was a good decision, his commitment to Utah, helping us be better, and being part of the community is unmatched. His only downside is that he's not very project capable, so he has little value for Harbor Freight. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, that's good. All right. From Cameron Deal, Executive Director of the Utah League of Cities and Towns. 15 years just like that. Andrew has elevated WFRC on local, state, and national stage through principles of collaboration, planning, and passion. The Unified Plan for Transportation and Wasatch Choice are synonymous with him and his team and have made an incredible impact on our quality of life in Utah. When he first started, he handed out booklets of the Unified Plan to rooms of chuckling skeptics. Now we all have Wasatch Choice maps on our walls. Andrew's passion for his work is evident, and everyone trusts his perspective, expertise, and problem-solving skills without personal ego. Andrew has built meaningful partnerships with the League, UAC, UDOT, UTA, and other AOGs and elected officials everywhere, and has hired fantastic staff who care about what they do. More than all of that, he's a friend, a confidant, and a bike riding and hiking partner for many of us. We are fortunate that Tracy persuaded him that their family should move to Utah. And finally, from Tracy. Who more than anything wishes she could be here today. We all know Tracy has a very busy job and she does so much for our state as well. And she is fulfilling her role and wishes she could be here in person. Tracy Gruber said, "We all know that Andrew is among the most optimistic, energetic, and nicest people we know. He loves bringing that energy and spirit to the WFRC, particularly when it comes to supporting new employees and those starting out on their professional journey. WFRC, staff, and council is an extension of family for Andrew, and you all get the best of him, including incredibly high expectations. If you think he only saves the red pen for WFRC, our son, who is applying for law school, was subject to that treatment just last week on his personal statements." Andrew's time.
He asked for it, just for the record.
Hey, Dad, can you help me? But please don't bring that red pen. Yeah. Andrew's time at the Wasatch Front Regional Council has been one of great personal growth and perspective on where he can make the greatest impact for our region. Despite being approached about other opportunities through the years, his heart is with the WFRC, the people, the council members, the work, a place that contributes greatly to the region's future. It fulfills him in ways no other job has done. I get the great benefit of having Andrew around all the time. And yes, sometimes I ask him to stop talking or ask him to just relax a bit, but I am a much better person because of him. He gets me out on hikes, mountain biking, camping, and doing the things we love most, drinking coffee in the morning and reading his beloved New York Times. It's hard to believe that it has already been 15 years at the helm of WFRC. When Dawn told me today was the day Andrew would be recognized for his 15 years of service, I couldn't believe it. It has had a remarkable impact on him and our family. Thank you for all of your love and support. You are family. So to Mr. Gruber, on behalf of all of us, we say thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's enough. Thank you. I'll just say thank you and how it is only through partnership that we get any of this work done. So thank you to everybody.
He's never going to talk to me again. Yep. Okay. Our next item that we have is public comment, and we would like to invite anyone here from the public that would like to share a few thoughts. Each of you get 2 minutes to come on up to the microphone. Please let us know who you are and where you're from, and we'd love to hear from you. The time is now open if you'd like to come and share with public comment.
Hello. All right. Oh, hey. All right. Hey there. I'm Zach Scriven. I live here in downtown Salt Lake City, but I'm not a native Utahn, and I'm not paid here to be here by like a special interest. So like, why should any of you listen? Well, I've lived here for the last 4 years, and I also pay my bus ticket. So I feel like I pay sales tax here. I pay my bus fare. I feel like that gives me a voice. So y'all should listen for my another minute and 30 seconds. So There's a literal, this is, I want to address the Wasatch Regional Council. There's a literal gold mine of opportunity sitting under the rail tracks in 600 West. This is centered around the downtown station redevelopment, you know, and there's forward progress, there's hope, because the Salt Lake City mayor has acknowledged the east and west divide. The Salt Lake RDA has acknowledged the RGP as part of its redevelopment act for the Rio Grande district. And you know, finally, even the UTA is acknowledging the Rio Grande plan. For the longest time, it was like, you know, like Joe Biden didn't want to say Tesla. You know, he didn't invite them to the EV summit. It's like finally, the UTA is finally saying Rio Grande plan. Like the words came out of their mouth. So now the ball's in your court, Wasatch Regional Council. This is a perfect project for you guys to spearhead. You guys have been doing great work with all the other station redevelopments. This is the kingpin. Please, please be ambitious, which is what you said, ambitious projects. This is a slam dunk project. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. We're always happy to hear from you. Yeah. No, I mean, the bus fare is just a bonus. We're glad you're here. Is there anyone else here in person that would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll go online. We've got one person online, and we would invite you to turn on your camera. Let us know who you are. I'd love to hear from you. I think it's Jenny Frederick. Yes, Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi.
Frederick,
Can you
Jenny,
hear me?
apologies. I'm looking at this backwards. Yes, Frederick, please.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, it seems it won't let me turn on my camera, but that's okay. This is going to be a very similar comment to the one that I made last week at the transportation meeting. My name is Frederick Jenny. I'm a resident of downtown, and I've been here for 9 years. I'm also not a native Utahn, but have come to love the community that I'm in. Over the past year, WFRC has worked with many different community members, government officials, and partner agencies to create this shared vision of our region's future. And it's a beautiful vision. I want to recognize the effort that's gone into that vision. This year, however, there's a significant difference from last year. The citizen proposed Rio Grande plan continues to gain momentum and support from many different agencies and different community groups. Yet I do not see that reflected in the Power District Transportation Study, the 2026-2031 TIP, or even the long-term transportation plan or Wasatch Choice Vision. As a body tasked with regional planning, I would hope that WFRC and the entire group here takes seriously the responsibility to evaluate a project of this magnitude. Citizens don't have the ability to continue to plan it. It has to be given to the state. It has to be given to a group of body like this. The Rio Grande plan is not just another idea. It offers solutions to many longstanding challenges, such as the east-west divide and grade separation of the railroad crossings, which is in UDOT and UTA's long-term plans anyway. And this will create one of the strongest station area plans in Utah. It will have regional benefits for everybody, including 2,500 new housing units, which I know is one of the governor's long-term goals is to have more housing. So many of us have engaged with WFRC and UDOT and UTA, and even Salt Lake County, who has preliminary endorsed this plan and asked WFRC to personally take a look at this. So I urge us to move beyond last year's statement that WFRC put in the 2025 to 2030 TIF. And it's a direct quote from what it was last year on this year's presentation. Continue to work with transportation agencies and stakeholders to appropriately consider the Rio Grande plan. So let's appropriately consider the Rio Grande plan and actually move forward with it. I want to thank you again for letting me make this comment.
Thank you, Frederick. We appreciate it. I'm actually going to ask Mr. Gruber very quickly to give a little bit of explanation, just very brief, high level, about kind of our process and how this works.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Ramsey, and thanks, Frederick, and all the commenters. We have received a lot of input from the proponents of the Rio Grande plan. We really appreciate and value that. Where we're at in our processes right now is development of the next regional transportation plan, and the Rio Grande plan is being considered among many other concepts for the region in that planning process. I'll also note that Salt Lake City is leading a companion effort that they call the We Connect West-East Connection, because from a transportation perspective, the principal benefit of the Rio Grande plan would be to resolve some east-west conflicts. And the We Connect effort is looking broadly at a larger geographic area and looking at all of the potential options to address those east-west issues. And so thank you. We are giving this consideration and look forward to continuing to do so.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew, and thanks both Zach and Frederick. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on to item 4, our Regional Growth Committee. We're going to turn to Mayor Bob Dandoy, who chairs that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today we have 2 items. Specifically, first, we're going to discuss the progress of the Wasatch Choice Vision, particularly progress in the city and town centers. It's an interesting strategy. And the second is then we'll consider certifying 6 stationary plans. Let's begin with the Wasatch Choice Vision. Work centers, or centers work, is the name for reflecting on the progress of the Wasatch Front Vision, or Choice Vision. Now, Ted Knowlton and the deputy director, and Meg Padden, community economic development director, will share the significant progress update. They'll share the real progress and the real benefits that the real support really is happening in our communities. So we'll turn the time over to Ted. Ted?
Mayor Dandoy, thanks so much. Great to be with you all. You're familiar with the Wasatch Choice Vision. This is our shared blueprint for coordinating how communities grow, our infrastructure, so that we can maintain and even improve our quality of life over time. Typically, when we talk about the Wasatch Choice Vision, we focus on where we're going, the future that we will create. Today, we're going to do something different. We're going to focus on, hey, what's the progress we're making? And you heard Mayor Dandoy talk about this. We're going to focus on one of the key strategies of the Wasatch Choice Vision, which is, hey, let's have great city and town centers. So we're going to talk about the progress, the benefits, and the resources. All of this is new. So this is new information you haven't seen before. And the high-level takeaway is it is working. But let's check in on this. Let's start with the progress. Almost every community in the region is developing a city or town center, whether it's improving a historic center or creating new centers. And there's never been more interest in this strategy. A couple of years ago, 2023, the number of city and town centers that communities across the region were working on was 221. And you see the number now, it's 393. It's almost double. There's never been more interest in this strategy. Let's start with a couple of case studies about how this is actually landing on the ground, and then we'll look at some broad regional numbers. So I'm going to show you 2 very different centers. The first is downtown Daybreak, South Jordan's downtown. Mayor Ramsey, your downtown. South Jordan started as a key player in the vision, developing their plan collaboratively there, and they have been working on their plan for Daybreak and downtown Daybreak over time. And now it is not just coming out of the ground, it is robustly there. And you've been there, right? How many of you have been to downtown Daybreak? This is a great place that really just fills energy into that whole part of the valley. The Bees Ballpark, a new library, and the like. And it's dovetailed with transportation choices. Part of the beauty of a center. It's right by the Mountain View Corridor Freeway. It's served by the new South Jordan downtown track station on the Red Line. It typifies, it exemplifies this strategy as a big new center. Now, here's a very different one up in my neck of the woods, Bountiful, my hometown, by the way. Bountiful has a Main Street. Yes, Mayor Harris, you're online, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Bountiful, you know this, Mayor, Bountiful's been working on your downtown for a long time, both collaboratively in the vision and most recently as identifying it as the focal point of the general plan. You can see the purple downtown rectangle there. Main Street's historic, but they're leaning into it with more buildings, activity, and vitality, saying it's not just an antique, it's something that we will improve. And so you see these new buildings, including Vito's, among the best cheesesteaks in the state. I personally recommend it. A few years ago, Bountiful added the Bountiful Town Square, literally the place where you'd get an ice cream and then you'd walk across the street, let your kids play, and you'd gather as a community. I know the mayor can attest to this. I've been here a bunch of times. It just is fun. It's a fun spot. So I think we start locally when we look at progress because that's where centers matter the most. They add this like spark to a place. But the cool thing about city and town centers is when you add them up, the benefits to the region are incredibly significant. These are all estimates based on the ground, the on-the-ground presence of city and town. It's not a forecast, it's an estimate of what we experience today. So here's a few things. We'll start with housing. Before we get into housing, you see an example. Here we are in Daybreak again, but you see a mix of housing types: apartments, condos, townhouses on the left, small single-family homes on the right. City and town centers, this is measuring the same geography across time. The same geography is yielding twice the housing units in centers over the last 15 years. Now 150,000 housing units in centers across the region, 15%. I was surprised by this rapid growth myself. Reflect on this. It's not just a lot of housing units, which helps us with our housing challenges. It's where they are located. They are coordinated with our major roadway system, our interstates, our high capacity transit, like this diagram shows. And that adds up too. This means we can get to places more easily. They're close to us and we can get there with driving, walking, biking, transit. We estimate that the average home in the Wasatch Front can now reach 360,000 job opportunities within a reasonable commute. We're watching this number. It is going up. We're proud of this number, access to opportunities. Shorter driving distances, more transportation choices, it adds up in other ways. We estimate that because of that 150,000 units in city and town centers, we avoid having 800,000 more miles of driving on our roads. And you can imagine what kind of difference that makes. Centers are these places where activity is focused in a relatively small area, so they absorb growth really efficiently. When you think of those 150,000 housing units and the homes and the jobs and destinations that go with it, that efficiency saves about 40 square miles. It means we have 40 square miles more of farmland and open space because of the centers we have on the ground today. Water usage savings as well. There's not as much land that you're irrigating in centers. So because we have those centers, we save about 30 million gallons of water per day. So these regional benefits really add up. Now I'm going to hand it to Meg Padgen, our Director of Community and Economic Development, to talk about the third of three pieces: real progress, real benefits, and now real support. Meg? Oh, yeah.
Thank you. We know these places don't just happen. It takes a lot of intention and a lot of hard work. And so we have support for you. I want to talk mainly today about two new resources, both of which were a collaboration with the Property Rights Ombudsman Office Land Use Training Funds. I want to thank them for their support and partnership. These are statewide, available statewide because of that. The first is we have more information for you now on centers than we ever have. We've talked about centers for a long time. Now we have in-depth information online about centers. So you can go to our wasatchchoice.org page, navigate to the centers, and you can click through the different scales of centers and see all kinds of different information about them, what makes them work, what context they may be appropriate in, or how you may turn a certain context into one of these centers. The most important thing here is that they're very visual resources. So you can take them and put them to work in your communities. This is a snapshot from one of our 3D models of centers. This is one of over 30 models. If you have time to kill later, hang out in the lobby and you can just watch them spin around. But I'm going to show you here a video that takes a few of these and gives you an example of what you can go in and do online. So here's one of our city centers. This is just panning through. It's actually smoother in real life, but you can see all these different modes of transportation, different missing middle housing, kind of in the background of this neighborhood center here. And then you can click in and you can kind of pan up, pan down, zoom in. You can click on each of these icons and they're going to give you really detailed information about what it is that makes this center tick, all of the components of a healthy center. Here's a nice gathering space surrounded by some office, some municipal uses with lots of housing and transportation options in the background. This one here is a city, an urban center. There's over 30 of these. I have to give a shout out to my colleague, Tim, who's been working very hard on this with our consultant partners. We're really proud of this resource and we think that you can take this into your own communities and have a more robust conversation about centers. The next resource is the Missing Middle Housing Toolkit, also a partnership with the Land Use Training Fund and led by the Mountain Land Association of Governments. So we partnered with them on this one. This is a toolkit for missing middle housing, talking about what missing middle housing is, the different product types that might make sense in your community. So you can kind of filter by what your needs are, what your context is. We know one size does not fit all. And then you can also even look at center types and missing middle housing. And then it's going to give you a whole lot of best practices for how to implement those in your community. And really, it might open your mind to some housing types that work really well in your city that aren't enabled by your codes right now. So take a look there as well. Lots of information to poke through. There's a nice video from the governor when you get to this landing page. Okay, the last of these, you can see more information on missing middle. The last of the resources I want to talk about today is not new, but it's technical assistance. You know that we can help you with your planning, certainly planning around centers, but we can also help you with design of centers if you want to get deeper into the details. Again, context specific, what does it look like for your city? We can help you with implementing ordinances, and that can be on the land use, the transportation side. This is to help regulate and allow the type of centers that you want to see in your city. And then beyond that, if maybe it's you want to have a deeper conversation with some property owners or developers in a certain 1-2 block radius, we can facilitate that too. So think big when it comes to technical assistance. I have a feeling we can help you if it comes to centered planning and implementation. Reach out if you have needs there. Ted? Oh my God.
I realized that I turned that off. Megan, thank you. Mayor Dandoy, turn it back to you, and we'll just note that centers are working. It's really making a difference. We're excited about it. We'd love your thoughts and ideas about how we share this story and where we might go from here.
Thank you, Ted. Madam Chair, we'd like to take about 5 minutes and maybe just add to this conversation any comments that may be available to us. So anybody like to make comments? Give us about 5 minutes.
Okay, Mayor Silvestrini and then Cam Deal.
So I just want to say this is awesome. I think it's actually a resource that we might need. I mean, a lot of us have been ambassadors for this. Andrew knows, as a resident of Mill Creek, that I just wrote an article about how density can help not only provide housing for our kids and grandkids, but also reduce congestion and improve air quality and quality of life for people. I think that article has been mostly well received. I received at least one negative comment, but I think getting this kind of information out to a broader audience is important. So I don't know if you have plans to present this at the upcoming league convention. You'll reach a lot of mayors and council members across the state with that, and I'd also just like to have it available so that we can share it with our community and my council members.
Anybody else?
Perfect. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Mayor Silvestrini, the answer is yes. In fact, we've been involved in the creation of both of these toolkits, and the timing of unveiling them now was intentional. So they will be profiled at the upcoming UAC conference, at the upcoming league conference. We'll be doing some webinars about it, and then really pushing this out to the newly elected mayors and council members who will be coming in after the November election. I wanted to thank WFRC and MAG, as well as Land Use Training Fund, for the work. We've had a lot of speakers in this space, but this is really the first time we've had this intentional coordinated effort to provide the toolkit to help local elected officials and staff connect the dots and make it happen. I want to add one other piece of context. Earlier this year, in the first Commission on Housing Affordability meeting, there was a question posed of what is the policy tool that can make the biggest difference. Meg Pageant and I, Meg from WFRC and I, co-presented our response on behalf of local governments, and there were responses from various stakeholders, but on behalf of local governments, we got up and said turbocharge centers. We shared the very data you just heard about the growth in identified centers over the last couple of years. And there was push from other stakeholders for one-size-fits-all preemptions of land use authority, like we've seen in Texas and California and Florida and other states in the last couple of years. But our point was that cities are proactively planning for centers. And so how can we partner between all of the different stakeholders to turbocharge these centers? We can't control the market forces at play, but we can control the infrastructure investment, the planning, and the collaboration to turbocharge centers and take these pictures and make them a reality. And we have a good story to tell of what we've done thus far. So Mayor Silvestrini, yes, there'll be the outreach effort to our members, but we also plan to take this information to legislators so they understand what's happening in the center space.
Other comment over here?
First of all, it's a great looking bus and train in the resolutions, but I was also thinking, decades ago, to be honest, the effort to recycle really came from kids in elementary school. I mean, I remember our kids coming home and saying, "Mom and Dad, when are you going to recycle?" And it was in the early days. And I can't help but think if that tool could be used in a, upper grade, grade status with education, it's really the youth of today that are going to make those decisions tomorrow. I mean, we have an effect clearly as local officials, others as local officials might do, but it's really the next generation that's going to have that profound impact. And so to have that ability and to be able to attribute it to their city or their neighborhood or whatever could be really powerful teaching tool.
Okay, we appreciate all the input, Madam Chair. Great conversation, great program that we're seeing and witnessing that's taking place. In my opinion, Madam Chair, these tools need to be used. And if we can educate, bring this kind of a product, to our communities, then I think the communities can be sold on this. There's something to be said about visually seeing, what the future looks like. It makes a big difference. These tools will go a long way to help make that happen. So thank you. I think this group has done a great thing. With that, Madam Chair, I'd like to move to our action items, which specifically is the stationary plan certifications. We're approximately halfway through the substantial and meaningful task of certifying the great work the communities are doing in developing stationary plans. The Regional Growth Committee is making recommendation to the council today to certify 6 station area plans in Harriman, Layton, South Jordan, and West Haven. Byron Head, the Wasatch Regional Council Community and Economic Development Group will introduce this, and so I'm going to let him go ahead and take the lead on this. Byron?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. As Mayor Dandoy said, we have some stationary plans from 4 different communities to address today. The first 3 of these are resolutions of impracticability, and then the last 2 are more kind of traditional, what you would call small area plans. So we've been doing this for a while now, so I'll skip over the requirements and objectives from the legislation. You can find more information about that on our website, but we'll just move straight into the progress update and then the plans themselves that we'll be addressing today. So to date, as has been said, we've certified 44 stationary plans throughout the whole region, 42 specifically in the Wasatch Front area. We have 5 more to address today, 49 more being prepared behind that, and then we have 29 that have not yet engaged with what I'll call HB 462 supported planning work. But with all that work, as Andrew mentioned earlier, with the plans being considered today, would bring us to almost 51,000 housing units planned for in these station areas, which is a huge win for the program. So yeah, let's get into today's requests. We'll go through these pretty quickly, but please let me know if you have any questions. We can stop and address those, but if not, I'll get through this pretty quickly since you've seen this before. First, we have 3 resolutions of impracticability. First of those is West Haven's portion of the Roy Frontrunner Station. If you're not sure what part of this map we're talking about, it's these 3 little areas surrounded in red circles. It's less than 10 acres in total, and the areas in these areas are already developed or entitled, so there's not much station area planning that can be done there. Next, we have Harriman's portion of the Daybreak Parkway track station. Again, that very small area at the very southern tip of the circle there. This is within the Mountain View corridor right-of-way or UDOT parcel directly adjacent to that. And again, is impracticable, we have found as staff for developing a stationary plan. And then last of these impracticability ones, we have the Layton portion of the Clearfield Frontrunner Station. Again, this is just over an acre. It's already developed, and actually it's developed mostly as part of an apartment complex, so it's already providing housing within a station area. And now for the more exciting ones, the full plans. We have the Layton Frontrunner Station just down the line from the Clearfield Station. We have Mayor Petro here, so I'll turn to her for her comments about this project.
Okay, no, I'll make this quick. I have to say that this stationary plan has been extremely exciting to see come up out of the ground, knowing that it involved a lot of planning, pre-planning, and I know Wasatch Front Regional Council had helped us with that. But as you can see, we've got a lot of housing in that particular area. And in addition to that, probably one of the most exciting parts for me yet to come, because we are waiting on some additional funding, is the pedestrian bridge that will go over the railroad tracks. And the reason why this is exciting to me is because, I mean, you've obviously got the transportation with the front runner and also the UTA, but this connects that east-west corridor for the active transportation because it ties right into our trail systems. So, you know, I just have to say thanks to everyone for helping us get through this, but certainly, you know, if you drive there now, you'll see that Layton does have a downtown area that is growing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. And then, you know, last but certainly not least, we have the South Jordan portion of the South Jordan Frontrunner Station. This body saw the Sandy portion of this plan recently. And so we have Mayor Ramsey, we also have in the gallery a couple of her key staff from the city that worked on this project. So Mayor Ramsey, turn to you for your comments.
Thank you. This plan is about 300 acres between I-15 and the Jordan River, and there are some really unique constraints because of the topography, floodplain, conservation easements, utility corridors, and 90% of the buildable land in the station area plan has already been developed. So it's interesting. It was a challenge to put this together. However, and the Jordan River runs through the entire western side of the station area plan, so it's a unique place. However, really good work came out of this, and as was mentioned, the Sandy side of this big circle that we look at has already been approved. And the South Jordan side of this Frontrunner is home to the Ultradent campus. So I said this in regional growth. If you brush your teeth, you probably use toothpaste that they manufactured, because it doesn't matter what brand you use. Or if you whiten your teeth, they invented that. That's what I'm saying. Just saying, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, it's an assumption I don't just automatically make, but yeah, no. Anyway, Ultradent is a major employer and a big manufacturer, and a lot of people don't even know that they're there, but they also take up a big portion of this. We've got several hundred, almost 600 new homes planned in vacant areas and a lot of little infill spots where commercial will work well. It's got good infrastructure. It's right there on the Frontrunner line. It's a good area, and we've got a great plan. And one of the developments with 225 housing units, more than half of those will be for sale product. And so we're really trying to find that right balance right here in this corridor. It also includes a 50-acre parcel, almost 50 acres of existing conservation easements. So the station area plan protects the river. It maximizes land use in a very safe and appropriate way along the river, having a front runner station and the river both within the same area, and making sure we try to get this right. So I just want to say thanks to our team from South Jordan. We've got two of our finest here today, and to everybody at Wasatch Front Regional Council who helped us come up with the right station area plan for a tricky parcel, a unique constrained parcel, and present to you South Jordan's last station area plan for hopefully approval today. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Mayor. So you have all the information for all these plans in your packets, including the plans and resolutions themselves, staff report, and our findings there, as well as the draft resolution for each of these. These all received a positive recommendation, both from staff and from the Regional Growth Committee. We have a suggested motion on the screen for this, but I will turn it back to the chair for any discussion.
Any comments?
Chair Dandoy, I'll make that motion if there's no comments.
That's fine. If we're ready to go ahead and make the motion.
I move to certify the resolutions and station area plans, if applicable, for West Haven's portion of the Roy Front Runner Station, Harriman's portion of the Daybreak Parkway Track Station, Layton's portion of the Clearfield Front Runner Station, Layton's Front Runner Station area plan, and South Jordan's Front Runner Station area plan.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mayor Stinger. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Stevenson. Any discussion to this? Just some big cheers, I hope. All right, all in favor of approving these, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those are certified.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I want to take Ted, certainly Megan and Byron and for their comments. They obviously have done well in terms of putting this together. Madam Chair, I will indicate to you we asked Laura Hanson last week in our Regional Growth Committee to take this message to the governor. And the message is clear. Almost 51,000 more housing units. Significant, phenomenal, and I think if the governor and the legislators understand what's happening, they asked for this. We're taking and doing our part to make it happen. 51,000 opportunities. That message needs to be loud and clear. Again, with that, that's we're going to conclude our Regional Growth Committee comments.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mayor Dandoy and everyone, all the staff and team and members of the Regional Growth Committee. Thank you. All the cities that have been doing this good work. And if you have a station area plan, I'm going to put a plug that has to be certified by the end of December. Please be working on that. Please make sure that those are happening, and there's a lot of support if you need it. All right, we're going to move to item 5, our Transportation Coordinating Committee. Mayor Shepherd, turn to you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I first have to note that I learned something new today, and that's that Layton has part of my Clearfield Station in their plan. I don't even know where that is. I'm looking at that map going, which part of my station is in your city? But I guess it crosses Antelope, so we got to get that little section on the end. It was news. I thought that was great. I came today and actually got something, so that's good. Madam Chair, we have 4 items on our report today. Item 5 is a review of 5A is a review of the materials provided in your packets. 5B, 5C, and 5D are action items. On 5A, that's the report on board modifications to the 2025-2030 TIP. These were already approved by Transcom back in June, and the materials are in your packets for your information, but Ben is here if anyone had any questions on those changes. Okay, well, that moves us on to item 5B, which is our action item. That is board modifications to the 2025-2030 TIP. At our meeting last week, Transcom reviewed the projects requested for this modification and has recommended approval. The council will need to take action on these requests. Again, Ben is here to answer any questions. We're not going to go back and review them all, but they are in your packet. If you've got questions for Ben, he's here to answer any of those. But don't ask them all at once.
Ben, you got to have something on the screen.
It's
If not,
coming.
we're going to want
It's
ice
coming.
cream. But I'll make a motion to approve the board modifications to the 2025 to 2030 tip as recommended by Transcom.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion to this? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's excellent. Thank you.
Okay, well, item number 5C then is the next action item. It's 2026, 2031 Transportation Improvement Program changes, which includes roughly $10 billion of transportation improvements in our region. Ben discussed the tip with Transcom last week, and given the large investment in the tip that the tip represents, I'd asked him if he would briefly review the tip and its development with you, and then the council can take action on the new tip. And so, Ben, we'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor. So this is an exciting item that we get to talk about. But very first of all is we're going to begin. We're going to talk about tomatoes. So tomato, a vegetable or a fruit? Good question there. Thinking about that, do you understand or know that there's over 10,000 varieties of tomatoes? And they vary with multiple colors, over 7 major colors, but there's a variation of the colors on tomatoes. They've actually grown a tomato in space. And did you know that a cooked tomato is actually better for you than raw tomatoes? But don't throw out the raw tomatoes, because a raw tomato brings all sorts of nutrients. There are a lot of vitamins. A tomato is made up of 94% water on a tomato. And if you were to harvest a tomato, and as it begins to ripen a little further, it actually gets a little heavier, gains weight in that tomato. And I thought I had a picture of the world's biggest tomato. And then I was looking online and I saw this picture where these folks are about to move into one. So I didn't have the most current picture. But in Spain, they have a celebration. It's probably one of the world's largest food fights. This has actually happened here just a few days ago in Spain. And if you lived in Ohio, the state beverage is tomato juice. But here in Utah, something that's really cool is Hooper City, Hooper, is going to celebrate 100 years celebration Tomato Days. That's this coming weekend. So I thought that was pretty cool and pretty unique to our opportunity to talk about tomatoes. But you ask, so how does tomatoes have to deal with the tip? Well, actually, absolutely nothing. However, this weekend, when you're dipping your fries into ketchup, or you're eating your hamburger with some tomato slices on it, or just enjoying a wonderful salad, you can reflect back on that presentation that talked about the brand new Transportation Improvement Program. We have before you today the opportunity to review and approve the 2026-2031 Transportation Improvement Program and the corresponding air quality conformity finding. So this will bring into action our 2026-2031 tip. So what goes into all of this, and what is the tip? Well, as a reminder here, the Transportation Improvement Program, 6-year program of highway transit and active transportation projects. It's funded over 4 years. In the out 2 years, we consider that or call that concept development years. We program those years, but it enables us time to develop the concept for the project. It's for the urbanized areas, for the Salt Lake and the Ogden-Layton area, so essentially from Utah County all the way up through Brigham City. It's funded by federal, state, and local programs, and it's for all of the cities, the counties, UDOT, and UTA. Well, in the tip, there are a lot of projects. There's projects that are new construction or rehab and maintenance or safety and intelligent transportation systems, that's the ITS. Transit, operating and maintenance, that's the O&M, and the pedestrian and bike. But rather than me talk to you about the projects, we'll review quick here, just a few. Now, there's 4 corridors that we're just going to highlight here as it flies through this. But the project's on 5600 West, up there in Weber County in the Roy area. Then we've got projects there on Bangor Highway that you're familiar with as we're changing the grades between that grade to separated facilities. the Shepherd Lane interchange, which has taken place there in Davis County on I-15. And then there's just the general projects that are happening all along the Wasatch Front, all across. There's the road rehab and maintenance projects that are happening. Then we have the operations and the safety projects. And then we have transit capital improvements and operations and maintenance. And then there's our pedestrian and bicycle facilities or our active transportation type projects. All of these projects are included in the transportation improvement program. This is where these projects are funded and identified. So it's the tip in the Wasatch Front area, and it's the STIP or the statewide transportation improvement program over the whole state. But today, as we review, it represents billions of dollars. Before we had millions and we'd say hundreds of millions, but we want to really talk what it is. There's billions, tens of billions of dollars along the Wasatch Front, thousands of jobs, the economic growth and development, the mobility and the access and the preservation of life and the quality of life that we talked to, Andrew referenced at the very beginning of the meeting. So we prepared the information. We went out for the public for public comment. And as you know, as we presented to Transcom and have brought to this body, there's the tables that this body is responsible for programming. Those projects that are in the Surface Transportation Program, STP, the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Program, or CMEC, the TAP funds, which is Transportation Alternative Program, and the CRP or the Carbon Reduction Program. Then there's those projects that UDOT has the responsibility to take the lead in programming. All the other funds, the federal funds and state funds. And then there's those projects that UTA takes the responsibility to program, those that come from FTA. Then we also have to show that we are in conformance with our air quality. And all of this information went out to public for their review. During that public review comment period, we had 3 open houses. We had one in South Jordan, we had one in Ogden, and we had one online. They were very successful. We had over 400 comments. We referenced and encouraged people to go to the website, to look up the Transportation Improvement Program, look at the interactive map and zero in on a project. And if there isn't a project, leave a comment in the general form. But from that, we received over 332 specific comments regarding just the map. We had 66 comments that were on the general form, and then we had 12 written comments that were received at the open house. Now, we had a lot more comments given at the open houses, but it's kind of hard to stop and write stuff down while someone else is talking or asking questions. So there were other comments that were received as well. In your meeting materials is a summary of those comments. And we've broken them down to just a few, but you know, the number of comments to express support for transit and active transportation projects, and requests were made for several specific roadway or operational improvements. But in addition to that, we've also included all of the comments that were received so that you can review those comments. We're in the process of responding to those comments. When we receive a comment, we document that information, we present it and discuss it at the project or programming meetings. And then if those comments are appropriate or will enable it, those are incorporated into a project as we move through. Sometimes, as we're in the programming meetings, we're in the very early stages of a project, we'll discuss it, but the real comments happen more as we get into the environmental, into the design, and into the construction of the projects. Now, before we conclude, and I ask, Mayor, underneath everyone's, not your seat, but under the table, if you reach in there about where the metal bar is in front of everybody, you should all have something like this that's taped to your seat. If all of you will pull that out. So being that this is kind of a big deal and a special opportunity, hopefully, has everyone got it? Maybe they got swiped.
You gotta be kidding me.
But with that, unless there's specific questions, Mayor, that would be all we have for the review of the 2026-2031 tip. And then upon the council's recommendation and approval, we can celebrate by hopefully the strings pull right and things happen the way they're supposed to. Mayor, I turn it back to you.
Just loving Andrew's face. Are there any questions for Ben? I'm just thinking, two things today. I mean, I learned about Layton's piece of my city. I learned about poppers coming in. Man, I learned a whole lot about tomatoes, and I'm going to think back on that one. A cooked tomato is better for you than a raw tomato. That's awesome. Yes.
I just want him to know I grow 32 of those varieties of tomatoes in my garden.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
It's actually botanically, it's actually a fruit, but it's used as a vegetable and we refer to them as vegetables. But botanically, it is a fruit.
Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, with that, I would move to adopt the resolution approving the 2026-2031 Transportation Improvement Program and the corresponding air quality conformity analysis.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second by Mayor Petro. Any discussion? Okay, I'm going to ask for a vote, and then as soon as that vote goes through, if it passes, you are all welcome to celebrate. And actually, I want to tell Ben, thank you. This might be a little outside the norm, but we really don't take the opportunity to celebrate the big work that we do. There's a lot of good things happening, and it's worth celebrating. Yeah, okay. We'll vote, and then we'll count down 3, 2, 1, because, we got to get this right? And then we'll go into a holiday weekend, and
Who do we aim at?
who do we aim at? I don't know. Okay, all in favor of approving the motion to approve the 2026-2031 tip, please, modifications, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Mine didn't work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ben, thank you.
Well, Madam Chair, we do have one more item on our agenda.
Who cares? Who cares?
It is nowhere near as enjoyable as the last one, and there are no tomatoes involved. But when the tip is submitted to the FHA, the Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Transit Administration, WFRC is required to certify, along with UDOT, that the regional planning process complies with federal regulations. At our Transcom meeting last week, staff reviewed with us the content of the certification, and Transcom recommended approval. Wayne is here should you have any questions. And seeing none, then I would move, Madam Chair, that we adopt a motion that we adopt the resolution certifying the transportation planning process.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt the resolution certifying the transportation planning process, as has been explained, and we have a second by Mayor Silvestrini. Any discussion to this? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That concludes our report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that. Ben, please never retire. It's good. We all do a whole lot of meetings and they're never quite that fun. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate all the great work that's gone into this by everyone. All right, item 6, we have our reports. First of all, 6A is WFRC funding and technical assistance opportunities for local governments. We have Christy Dahlberg here with us. This is a key part of what we do, and one of our primary activities is to provide resources for local communities. We're going to turn to Christy to talk about the 9 programs that have provide funding and technical assistance, about $50 million a year, and a lot of good work happening from that. So Christy, take it away.
Thank you, Chair. And I'll also have to ask to never be on the agenda after Ben again. That would be appreciated. Thank you. But yes, I'm happy to talk to you about WFRC's funding programs, both for capital funding and technical assistance as well. Many, if not all of you, have already heard about these programs for fiscal year 26, so I'm going to not go into detail about them, but just provide a quick overview. So as Mayor Ramsey noted, we have 9 total programs, and they total around $50 million in funding a year. We get about 10 to 1 in requests for those funds, so there's a great need throughout the region. And unfortunately, we can't fund them all, even though we wish that we could. So the 5 programs on this screen, the Surface Transportation Program, Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality, Carbon Reduction Program, and Transportation Alternatives Program, all have upcoming letter of intent deadline due to WFRC in September. It's a super simple, easy first step, and will let you know that you're looking in the right place. The first 4 of these programs are, I think there's one missing off the slide, which I don't know what happened to it, but there was 4, there was 5 up there, and then now there's 4, but the first 4 are for capital funding improvements, and then the, transportation land use connection. Okay, this is this is a different slide deck, so I apologize. But the Transportation Land Use Connection Program is a technical assistance program. Okay, I'm a little thrown off, different slide deck, but I'm just gonna keep powering through. So I'll go back a little bit. As I mentioned, those programs have an upcoming letter of intent due. The Station Area Plan Technical Assistance Program does not have a letter of intent. It has an ongoing application cycle, meaning you can apply at any time. Community Development Block Program does not have a letter of intent, but it does have a mandatory how to apply workshop, and that will be held on October 16th. More information on that to come and be sent out to your emails. And then last but not least, we've got the Community Impact Board and the Wasatch Front Economic Development District, both of which also have ongoing application cycles. All this information is in your meeting materials, and it will be emailed to you and your staff following this meeting. If you have any questions about the programs, further information on how to apply, here's the contact information for the program leads. You can reach out to anyone at WFRC and we'll get you in the right place, but these are the leads for our programs. And we're happy to answer any questions we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Appreciate that. And again, appreciate the opportunity for so much technical assistance and funding assistance in making all these big things happen that are happening all over. The things that have been highlighted today are all significant, and they don't happen without a lot of smart people and some investment in making sure the planning's done right. Thank you. All right, item 6B, we have our executive director's report. We're going to turn to Mr. Gruber for that.
I have no poppers. I have no tomatoes. I have only one brief thing to mention, and that is that over the past few days, we have had the pleasure, and I say that with sincerity, of having representatives from the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit Administration join us to conduct our quadrennial certification review. This is an effort with our federal partners in DC, Denver, and locally here to review our programs, give us advice and recommendations, potentially some commendations, and also UDOT and UTA are engaged in that process. We value the input that we get from our partners in the federal government, and they have been so supportive of everything that we have been working to do along with UDOT and UTA and with MAG. I want to acknowledge Tricia Sharma. Tricia, wave your hand. Tricia is our the planning lead for the Federal Highway Administration here in Utah, and she's been spearheading this along with Wayne Bennion in our office. We don't have the results of that yet. We will get them. We'll be bringing that back to you at our October council meeting. But to our federal partners and UDOT and UTA, thank you very much. Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, we've made it to item 7. This is the last item on our agenda. And just a couple of calendar notes. Our next meeting will be Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. And just one more time, a plug. If your station area plan is supposed to be certified by the end of this year, please be working on that. I expect we'll see quite a few, right, Mayor? The next TED, we should see quite a few before the end of the year. I would imagine we'll have a number of them ready to be brought to us in October, and hope that that's the case, because we want to make sure everybody is compliant and is able to get those done in time. And just a reminder, there's help out there. So make sure you don't fall behind on that. The Utah Association of Counties Annual Conference is September 8th through 10th. Utah League of Cities and Towns Annual Conference is October 1st and 2nd. Utah Transportation Annual Conference, November 5th through the 8th. That is not the right dates. I happen to know that's not the right dates. No, that's okay. It is October 29th, 28th through 30th.
Sorry about that, Mayor. It's correct on the printed agenda.
No worries. No, that's totally fine. And our Wasatch Choice Vision Fall 2025 workshops are in October and November. Be watching for that. And again, as always, we encourage you to encourage your colleagues and your teams, your staff, bring your councils, bring your whoever, bring all the right people to come and participate in those. This is a comprehensive bottom-up plan, and we need to be part of it if we want to be part of it. So we encourage you to show up, be part of that. And the reason we share the dates for all of these other events is because in one way or another, we all participate, and WFRC is part of all of them because we're all partner organizations working to get the good work of Utah done. So unless anybody has anything else, I think I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And maybe if you have popper paper close by you, like you do the best you can to clean up. Let's make it easier on the team and leave less mess. Thanks.
Thank you.